Welcome to Okon Bros. This is Eric.
And I'm Michael.
Today we have on Richard Burgess, aka Vegan Gains. He's a very popular YouTube channel. He has a very popular YouTube channel that focuses on the vegan diet and lifestyle. What I wanted to start with, and what I admire so much about you and your channel, is you just don't take shit from anybody. Were you always like that?
Oh yeah. Ever since I was a small child, I'm very I'm very much a loner, very introverted, and I've never really cared about offending anyone ever since I was even in like daycare when I was like 3 or 4 years old. Always like that. I think it just comes naturally to me, and also just the way I was raised too.
Are you an only child, Richard?
Yeah.
You are.
Also by choice, kind of interestingly. My parents asked me if I wanted a brother or a sister when I was like pretty young, like maybe 4 or 5.
Did you tell them to go fuck themselves?
Didn't say it worded that way, but I said no, definitely not. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But being an introvert, though, Eric's an introvert, and you know, Eric and I have a dynamic, right? We're brothers, and I was always the extrovert. Eric was the introvert, and it was like pulling teeth to get Eric to do what he's doing now. Do you find it hard as an introvert to do what you're doing? And being, you know, you have over 350,000 subscribers. You have a tremendous voice in your community. Was that really hard for you to do?
I was initially camera shy. I've always been a bit camera shy, but once I got over that, everything else was pretty easy. When I was first kind of becoming an entrepreneur, starting my own businesses, I first got into personal training, and then I got into photography. Those things are really, like, if you're an introvert, it's really, really difficult. Like, you really have to communicate and network with everybody. So, like, comparing that to YouTube, where all you have to do is, like, talk to a camera, like an inanimate object, and then you can choose whether or not you want to interact with anyone else. Like, you can choose if you want to look at the comments and talk to people. So, compared to everything else I was doing before, like, this is incredibly easy. Like, it's probably the best job for an introvert, because you really don't have to communicate with anyone if you really don't want to.
That was my question leading, after this was, if you had never made it on YouTube or you never became an influencer, what would you be doing?
Yeah, I probably would have kept pursuing personal training, photography. I might have tried to pursue something like acting or modeling, maybe seriously. But yeah, I probably would have just kept pursuing those things.
That's crazy. So veganism, were you always a vegan? Were you raised as a vegan?
No.
How did you find veganism?
So when I was growing up, I liked vegetables. Like, I liked a lot of plant foods. I was like big into fruits and vegetables, but I also ate meat and everything just because it was normal. I liked animals. Like, I always liked animals. I never knew really what veganism was. I heard of vegetarianism. I didn't really hear about what veganism even was until maybe I was around like 14, 15, like pretty.
How old are you now, just out of curiosity?
I'm 29.
You're 29. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So then right around high school, I first heard of veganism, and I just thought it was weird. Like, just the idea of not even eating, milk or eggs. I didn't understand what the ethical issue was with eating milk or eggs. I could understand why some people would be like against eating meat, because it's obvious like animals have to die. But then a friend of mine at the time, he linked a speech by an animal activist named Gary Yourofsky. He linked it on Facebook. And it was a really powerful speech. I think it was called The Best Speech Ever Told. And he just went over all the reasons why, eating meat and animal products is wrong. It's like bad for your health. It's bad for the animals, bad for the environment. Then after hearing that speech, I just went vegan cold turkey. And it was right before my 19th birthday.
Wow. So you've been vegan for 10 years.
Yeah.
And are you doing it because of ethical reasons, or are you doing it because of health reasons, or are you doing it just to show that you can?
So initially when I went vegan, it was primarily for health reasons, but also the ethical reasons were important to me. It's what made me stick to the diet. But over time, the ethics matter more to me. So right now it's really just for the ethics.
What health issues were you dealing with when you decided to go vegan?
Wasn't really, I didn't really have any health issues. I did have a few surgeries on my knee, and it was just bothering me. I couldn't really walk for very long. I'd have to like take breaks every 30 minutes because my knee would stiffen up a lot. That was really the only health problem, but I didn't really know it could at all be related to diet. After I went vegan, I did lose weight pretty quickly. I lost about 10 pounds. I felt like better, more energetic. My lifts went up in the gym, and my knee health just improved a lot. I got rid of the weird stiffness and achiness that I constantly had. That took only like a couple months to go away. My depression also improved quite a bit. I had suicidal depression ever since I was really, really young, like about 6 years old. And my suicidal depression turned to just depression. So that was pretty good.
What was like, what do you feel? It was a chemical imbalance? Was it an issue that you had when you were younger? If you don't want to dive into it, you don't have to.
No, it's cool.
Appreciate it.
I think it's a bit of both. So I do think I'm genetically kind of prone to depression, and there is a link between inflammatory issues and depression. And it's possible that a very anti-inflammatory diet, high in fruits and vegetables, lacking in some of these inflammatory foods like meat, dairy, and eggs, it very likely contributed to it. I think maybe the peace of mind of knowing that I'm doing something right and good for the animals, that might have helped as well. And I was mistreated as a kid for sure. I think my parents are pretty immature and irresponsible, and they definitely shouldn't have been parents. And that definitely contributed to it too.
Are you still close with them today? Or
No. Not really. I'm in contact with my mom. I talk to her occasionally. Talk with my grandmother too. Not really anyone else in my family. When I come across them, I might talk to my uncle or something. I think he's kind of cool. But that's pretty much it.
And your dad, you don't bother with at all?
No. Last time I saw him was 4 or 5 years ago or something. I just met up with him for Christmas, and then I don't know. He hasn't wanted to talk to me, so I just stopped talking to him.
I'm sorry to hear that, man. Our father dealt with depression and mental illness as well. He did pass away. We're going on 3 years now. But our mom was kind of like the glue that held us together. It was tough to be with him when he was, on his rampages.
Right.
So that I get it. I understand what you're saying. Oh God, I have a million questions. Eric, do you,
people that aren't vegan, do you hate them? Because that's like the persona that I get from you on your channel. Or do you hate people? Because I feel like you focus a lot on when people lie. And I feel like you don't like liars, as opposed to, or do you like having healthy discussions with people who aren't vegan versus people who are vegan?
Yeah, so I don't just plain and simple hate people that eat meat, and like you hit the nail on the head. I just don't like liars. That's what really ticks me off. I do have an issue with people who honestly don't care about animal well-being, and they're like, yeah, I know it's wrong. I just kill them anyway because I don't care. I do really dislike those people too. I don't like people who are apathetic, but it's people who just flat out lie to me and will come up with just excuses and lies that they don't even believe in to justify what they're doing. That's what really ticks me off.
Right.
But yeah, I'd compare it to somebody who is maybe, grown up in a family who's really racist. Like maybe they grew up in a family who's like a member of the KKK. Like if I came across someone like that, I don't like what they believe in, but at the same time, I kind of have sympathy and understanding for why they'd be like that. And I think that is kind of the way things are with meat eating. We've grown up in a culture where eating meat is normal, and I've been in that situation myself. So I understand, and I understand it can be kind of hard to get people out of that mindset. But it's when people lie to me that really ticks me off, where it's like, oh, it's okay to kill animals because it's the natural order of things, and they're just saying things that they don't actually believe in just to justify what they're doing.
Have you cheated? Have you cheated in the 10 years? Have you had meat? You haven't at all? Nothing?
No.
Really? It's incredible.
So our family has a lot of allergies. So like Michael can take it from here, but
Yes.
like he has intolerances to foods, and we figured that through endpoint allergy testing, and through blood work and stuff like that. What would you is veganism suitable for every person on Earth? Is there a diet that is suitable for every person on Earth?
So right now, there's no medical condition or disease known that would prevent you from being vegan. So no, there's always a workaround, especially now that we have supplements and fortified foods and modern technology. Like if you were allergic to a particular food or set of foods, like if you were allergic to soy, well, okay, there's a lot of other beans you can eat. If you're allergic to carrots or sweet potatoes and you can't get vitamin A from normal sources, well, okay, now there's supplements. So there's always a workaround.
Yeah, my big thing is I'm anaphylactically allergic to nuts. I can't have, almonds, walnuts, pecan. I've had them 5 times in my life, and all 5 times I ended up in the hospital. And it was really unbeknownst to me that the last allergic reaction I had was in Las Vegas. There was a little piece of chocolate dice on a tray, and I had the chocolate dice and I had hazelnut in it. My lips swelled up, the whole balloon, and everything. I was a vegetarian for a bit, and I enjoyed being a vegetarian. I lost a lot of weight. I felt great. But to me, I didn't feel I could sustain it because I was so limited with the vegetables I could eat. I'm allergic to tomatoes and nightshades. I have asthma, and I feel that it inflames me when I have that. I would love to know what's possible to eat. And same thing with soy. So it's soy, nightshades, and tree nuts that I really am not allowed to eat. What other foods are there on a vegan diet that would be suitable for someone with, because that's like, I think like 3/4 of the foods, it's like soy, it's nightshades, and tree nuts.
Well, there's like thousands of different species of plant foods. So, there's a lot of vegetables. There's a lot of green leafy vegetables like broccoli, collard greens, things like that. There's lots of fruits like, apples, oranges, bananas. Like you can name a lot of different fruits, mangoes.
I've been indoctrinated. So like, all right. So Eric and I Eric lost 100 pounds. I lost 50 pounds. And really to us, everything is about health. Right? That yes, it's horrible what they do to the animals. We're not for that. We don't believe it's the right thing to do to torture animals. We try to keep it as organic as possible. And the bullshit that we're fed, that it's got to be grass fed and humanly raised.
I just wanted to show Richard a picture of us.
Yeah, this was us.
Okay,
we were fucking hogs and heifers, the two of us. We were massive. I had fatty liver. I had asthma, chronic allergies, and vegetarian started my weight loss, and then Eric found keto, and then the weight melted off, and it was like, oh God, we could eat butter and cream, and we're healthy,
so to speak.
Right.
The jury is still out, because honestly, my cardiovascular profile, while it's okay, it doesn't look amazing, and I'm 37 years old. I have a calcium score of 17. Okay. Michael has a 0 calcium score. And, I lost weight. I had a thyroid issue. That all got corrected doing keto. I was a militant carnivore for 4 years. And I feel like
we weren't anti-vegan. I just want to say that we were not anti-vegan at all. We just found this diet.
Yeah. A portion, I think doing that did wreck my gut, because for lack of a better description, I began peeing out of my asshole every single time I would eat meat. And it would just be gushing every time I would eat. It would just go in and out. So now I eat a more balanced diet where it's meat and veg and fruit. And I was so afraid to go back to eating carbs, because I guess I was kind of brainwashed into the fact that if you eat any type of plant food, you're going to gain weight and get fat,
and be unhealthy. Right.
That was so hard for me to break.
Do you find that you're like fighting an uphill battle with these carnivores?
Not really.
Really?
Like evidence and logic is just on my side. It's just hammering the point over and over again enough to where they understand. Like if you're really confused on where to start with, like on diet, and you're limited with food choices, a good resource is challenge22.com. they will set you up with a registered dietitian, and they can make you a customized meal plan. So, and a vegan meal plan too. So they'll work with you, give you your own customized meal plan. If you have any kind of food allergies, just mention it to them, and then they can give you a long list of food options and everything. So yeah, if you're having issues and struggling with that, then that's a good resource. But I mean, there's a huge wide range of plant foods. Like, you're talking about literally thousands of different varieties of plants. You said you can't eat nightshades and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if there are like starchy root vegetables. I think there's things like
sweet potato, right? Sweet potato and
and there's I think taro is another one that wouldn't be in the nightshade family. I think that's more of an Asian sort of vegetable. It's kind of like a potato though. Yeah, so like there's a lot of different options, and I mean there's beans and legumes that wouldn't be in the nightshade family, where you can get a majority of your protein and stuff. So even though you are limited, like I don't think you're as limited as you think you might be.
Interesting, because
I find it so hard to believe that there have been carnivores that have been eating nothing but meat and fat, and like literally buckets of fat every single day.
No way.
And their stool is normal. I just can't, after experiencing it for myself, I just can't believe it.
And I got to tell you, Richard, Eric didn't put a piece of broccoli across his lips for 4 years. I mean, nothing, not even a piece of chocolate, where I do tend to cheat, right? I'll have like the more garbage foods. I sometimes follow a kefir model of the carb night solution, where I'll, splurge on some carbs and not eat any meat or fat or anything. Eric didn't cheat at all. And the fat that we would consume, I mean, they all see, like, I honestly don't know who to believe. Everyone says the vegans are shitting 10 times a day. I was a carnivore and I was shitting 10 times a day. So like, I honestly don't know like what the right thing is. Is fiber going to make you go all day? Or, I mean, I know the carnivore diet did for Eric and I.
Yeah, when you don't eat any fiber, it basically gets rid of your gut microbiome, and that will give you diarrhea. So you definitely need fiber, and that's pretty common. You can just look on YouTube, like carnivore diet gave me diarrhea. You'll see a million videos on that. Joe Rogan talked about it.
Right.
So yeah, that's a pretty common side effect.
So are they lying? I'm sorry for interrupting, but like, are they lying that they're saying, "Oh, my stool's perfect now"? It's like, I just ate 3 fatty ribeyes and I went to the bathroom.
It's entirely possible. Like, I've noticed with a lot of these people who are doing the carnivore diet, you can tell a lot of them have just an unhealthy relationship with their food, and they have like symptoms of an eating disorder. So I don't know if they can be entirely trusted with what they claim to be eating. And
expound on that, and go deeper into that.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what do you mean have a healthy relationship? Because they think they're like, they found God's gift to earth by just eating 6 ribeyes a day.
Yeah, like it's just not a normal sort of behavior. Like Sean Baker, for instance, that carnivore doctor.
Of course, yeah.
He talks about having anxiety with different foods he was eating. Like, he wanted to get healthy. I know even way back, like Dr. Atkins, he talked about having like a lot of anxiety and not being sure what to eat. Like, I just see this as a common trend with people who kind of go into these sorts of like really low carb, meat-based diets. They talk about just not ever being sure what to eat. And then they just hone in on these very specific kind of foods rather than having a varied diet. And that's kind of something that I've seen from people with eating disorders, like with anorexia, bulimia. Like, they just get nervous whenever they eat anything. And then these anorexics, they'll like hone in on just very specific foods. There's quite a lot of people with eating disorders within the vegan community. And I've talked with some of these people. A lot of them go on like raw diets and stuff, where they'll only eat like a very specific list of foods. So I see a lot of parallels with just eating disorder type behavior. And just based on some of the research on like vitamin C intake, like they talk about how they only eat skeletal muscle tissue, and they've been doing this for years. I don't believe that that's all they're eating to like maintain adequate vitamin C levels and not get scurvy. like they have to be eating something like some spices, even like
Yep.
a little bit of chili peppers, you know, sprinkled on their food would be just enough vitamin C. But they're claiming all they're eating is skeletal muscle tissue. I don't buy that. It just doesn't make any kind of scientific sense. Like they'd end up getting scurvy, especially if they're cooking their food. So yeah, I don't really trust them when it comes to what they're claiming to eat. And again, like I've seen these Facebook groups where these carnivore dieters talk about cheating on their diet regularly, where they can't just eat meat all the time, and they kind of get bored, and they have to eat like an apple or something, or just some carbohydrates occasionally.
You don't feel that way on vegan, right? You don't feel that I'm just dying for like an egg and cheese omelet. Nothing at all.
No.
Really?
I always hated eggs and cheese too. I don't know why people like it. Yeah, like eggs kind of taste like farts to me, and cheese just tastes like feet. So yeah. I never liked those foods.
Did you always have? No, go ahead. Finish.
Yeah, but like there's vegan meat and dairy replacements, and now there's even egg replacements too. There's Just Egg.
Yeah,
people tell me it's pretty good.
But that's what we'll talk about that. Eric, hold your question. Keep your question, because I want to. You spoke about the meats. So like meat is one ingredient, right? And yes, they feed it with corn and soy. Like we're dealing with the GMOs and all this shit. When you look at a Beyond Burger, there's 20, 30 ingredients in there. Is that normal for a body to handle? And I'm not against it. I just don't know about it, that like I have meat, one ingredient, and I feel okay when I eat it. Yes, it's awful what they do to the animals, but then I have the Beyond Burger, which has pressed pea protein oil. I don't know, garbage shit. And I don't know if that's good for your body. Is that what your body needs?
It's better for you than meat.
Really?
It's lower in saturated fat. It's free of cholesterol, and I mean the plant sources of protein. That it's based on. It's just better for you than the animal sources of protein. Higher in antioxidants. Like just because something has a long list of ingredients, that doesn't mean it's less healthy for you necessarily. The Beyond Meat stuff, it's not. I wouldn't consider it a health food. It's not. It's something you should have sometimes. If I were to recommend, mock meats that you could have more regularly, like on a near daily basis, I'd recommend something like Gardein or maybe Field Roast, Tofurkey, something like that. Okay. The main reason is in Beyond Meat, they use coconut oil as their main source of fat. It's high in saturated fat, and that raises your serum cholesterol. The other mock meats, for the most part, they use things like canola oil or sunflower oil. It's just a better oil for you. It's lower in saturated fat, doesn't raise your cholesterol. Really, the only concern there is just the sodium, which it kind of depends. Like if you're very active and sweating a lot, it doesn't really matter if you have a little bit of a higher sodium intake. But if you're sedentary, not really working out, then yeah, you kind of want to avoid sodium.
So what's your argument that vegetable oils are inflammatory? The safflower oils, not olive oil so much, because I started eating more olive oil in the last 8 months. But what's the reason behind that? Why are we being told that vegetable oils is the stuff that's causing the heart disease and not the cholesterol?
Right. So I've heard this is kind of being popularized by a bunch of naturopaths. There's this idea that vegetable oils oxidize very easily. So basically it means they generally go rancid very quickly when you just expose them to air. Whereas these saturated fats, like you can literally just cook bacon, and then you can put the bacon grease into a jar, and it just solidifies and it gets hard and it doesn't go bad. And like that's the basis for their claim that vegetable oils are bad. So because it goes rancid when you just leave it out, therefore it will go like rancid in your body. It's this really weird ancient Chinese medicine kind of idea. But no, there just isn't any evidence for this. The American Heart Association just recently came out with a paper talking about how replacing saturated fats like butter with poly and monounsaturated fats like olive oil, it's just better for you. Reduces risk of heart disease and subsequent cardiovascular events.
So Eric, last question, I'm sorry. So where are these motherfuckers getting this from, that vegetable oils are bad? Why am I being told in the carnivore community, in the keto community, that vegetable oils, you should be eliminating it, where, you know, I kind of feel better when I'm eating sweet potato chips and it's made in safflower oil and my poops are normal.
Yeah, like there's a number of different explanations. The most prevalent one I've heard is, you know, that weird, you know, naturopath explanation. I've seen a lot of naturopaths promoting that idea. I've actually debated a PhD in nutrition science on this exact topic of like the issue with oxidation and fats. And there's this idea that if you eat fat sources that easily oxidize, basically it makes it so your lipid particles oxidize a little more easily. And once your lipid particles oxidize, they're more likely to permeate your arterial wall and then, you know, start off, you know, heart disease. The evidence just isn't there, plain and simple. Saturated fats are more associated with heart disease. And even if this mechanistic sort of idea that they're talking about is true, well, if you can keep your cholesterol low enough, it doesn't matter. Even if your lipid particles are more likely to oxidize if you eat these plant fats like, you know, olive oil or canola oil, stuff like that.
Right.
If you can keep your cholesterol below 70 milligrams per deciliter, it's pretty clear that your chances of getting heart disease are virtually zero. Whereas if you eat lots of saturated fats, a lot of cholesterol, a lot of butter and lard and stuff like that, and you raise your cholesterol, well, the people with the high cholesterol who are eating these foods, they're way more likely to develop heart disease. So even if like they could prove that, oh, look, if you eat olive oil, your LDL particles are going to oxidize, you know, more readily. It doesn't matter. If you can keep your cholesterol levels low enough, just plain simple doesn't matter.
Interesting.
Really, really interesting. So
I know I interrupted you 100 times, Eric.
It's all good.
Go
you
ahead.
have like a really scientific mind, right? Like you go by data, you go by evidence. I, on the other hand, I go by gut and I go by the way that I feel. And
Your
I'll
leaky
go...
gut. Your leaky gut. You go by your leaky gut.
Actually, I never had that. So are you always evidence-based with everything in your life, or do you go by the way anecdotal, or will you ever go anecdotal, or will you ever go based on how you feel about something?
When it comes to scientific claims, I always go based on data. So when it comes to things like health, I always go based on data. When it comes to interacting with people, like obviously you have to go on gut, like when it comes to just relationships, business decisions with other people, I do go on gut. Like I have to read people, get a sense of how I feel off of them. And I go with my gut feeling and intuition in those situations. But whenever it comes to, you know, objective facts, you know, knowledge-based things, scientific things, I always go based on data.
How much do you read a day? You're so, you know, I've been binge watching your videos. You're so well versed, and you can convince anybody that eating meat is bad and being a vegan is good. Do you read all day? How do you get your information?
Yeah, I read a fair bit. Like I read just medical texts, you know, journals a lot, just to stay updated on a lot of information. I'm particularly interested in, you know, heart disease, lipidology, that sort of thing. So I do read a fair bit. And, you know, whenever I make those, you know, scientific videos talking about nutrition, I always read up.
How long does it take you to make one video?
It really depends. I've been able to cut down on how long it takes me to make a video. I think usually now I can make a video in roughly 4 or 5 hours. Yeah,
wow.
Usually. Yeah,
that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
That's research. That's you know, doing the video and then editing it. That's
yeah.
But you have like a lot of foundational knowledge based on whatever you're going to talk about.
So over the years, just because I know more, I've kind of gotten used to making videos, and I've just gotten snappier and quicker with things just because I have a good knowledge base right now. And I've just gotten so used to just making videos and getting used to the whole video production thing that I can bang them out pretty quickly.
Does controversy grow your channel the most?
It depends. Like, you know, some people, like, I don't know, just some people, they make, you know, stupid vlogs, family vlogs, and they just skyrocket out of nowhere.
Right.
Yeah, with me, controversy sure as hell grew my channel. So I think more than anything, just being genuine kind of grows your channel. Like just do what you feel, you want to share, you believe in. I think that's really important.
I couldn't stop laughing. Your video on Eric Berg, Dr. Eric Berg, where you're like, this guy's going to teach you how to build muscle. I like Eric Berg. I have nothing against the guy. His videos have helped me. But he's like a skinny guy, right? He's like no muscle tone at all. And you're like, this fucking guy's going to tell me how to gain muscle. Your videos, when you dress up, do you script that, or do you just go by the seat of your pants?
Now I don't really have to script it. Like I haven't written a script in I think a little over a year now. Just when I watch the video, I just write the script in my head. Just watch the video once, and then it all comes in my head. I know what jokes I'm gonna make, what characters I'm gonna play, stuff like that. Yeah,
you're fucking hillbilly.
The first when you Google vegan gains, the first thing that comes up is vegan gains a troll?
Oh yeah.
How does that make you feel?
I don't know. Like,
you don't give two shits, man.
Are you a troll?
No. I guess I'm just an unusual person, and not a lot of people act like me, I guess. So
to me, you are the Floyd Mayweather of the health community.
Yeah.
You are, and that's a compliment. That's a compliment. I'm a huge boxing fan. Floyd Mayweather's the bad boy of boxing. But you know what? He's flawless.
Yeah.
And he's 30-0 or 50. No, he's 50-0. He's 50-0. Your videos
are hard to beat.
You're hard to beat. Your videos are 50-0. And I don't know if that's going to listen. We had Frank Tufano on the channel, and we have a few other health people coming on because we want to learn about their journeys. We want to hear about them. Whether veganism is a right or wrong, your videos are fucking A+, man.
Thanks.
Really, truly. And we're not vegan. I'm very curious to know about it. You piqued my interest, and I've been following you throughout the years, but it really wasn't up until the last few months where I really started honing in on your stuff. You're Floyd Money Mayweather. You're hard to beat. You can't, you know how to dodge people. I've seen your debates with Sviraj. I swear to God, this is better than like As the World Turns. All right.
Yeah.
You and Sviraj just go at each other. And
I wanted to ask about that. Not really about Sviraj, but about his idol, Adonis Vonderplanets.
Oh, I've heard of him. Yeah,
Have you ever done any little research on him?
So I didn't know about this until recently, like a couple of weeks ago. Somebody mentioned it. That guy, Frank Tufano, I think, also based a lot of his information off that dude.
Yeah,
he's critical of Adonis. Adonis was basically a dude who believes in all raw foods, raw meat, raw. He juices. He's not afraid of vegetables and fruit per se. He doesn't like the fiber in them, but he's not necessarily against eating them.
But he'll eat a raw squirrel, which just so unappealing.
And he did end up dying. He died in an accident where his balcony collapsed in Thailand.
So they say.
But,
there's a weird conspiracy community around that guy too. They think he was like assassinated and stuff. He's just a freaking weirdo, like plain and simple. The guy believed in a lot of weird conspiracy theories. He was like an anti-vaxxer and stuff. That's all I can say. He was just a weird, kooky weirdo.
I like when you call the SJW shitheads. This is associated with the stigma of veganism. I always thought vegans were the SJWs, right? That's what you're being told by the carnivore community.
Social justice warriors.
Yeah. They're the people that, they're eating vegetables, so their brains are messed up. That's what we're told. That's what our research showed. And it's like, then I go to your channel, you're a vegan, you're a smart vegan, and you're saying, these fucking SJW shitheads.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, so maybe, vegan isn't associated with that. What do you feel about it? Please talk about it, Richard.
Vegans are a very diverse group. I think there is a huge issue with vegans being like these social justice warriors and far left. And I think a big reason for that too is there's a lot of women involved. There's a lot of like young people in the vegan movement. And I think just in general, people who are more liberal minded are more likely going to go vegan. But there's a wide range. It's a very diverse group. I've seen, libertarian vegans. I know some conservative vegans. I've literally, not even joking, seen far right wing Nazi vegans. Not even
Wow.
kidding. There are Nazi vegans. Check out John Rose. He is quoted as saying, Hitler was pretty nice to the Jews after what the Jews did to Hitler.
Oh
Not
my
even kidding.
God.
The guy has been vegan for a long, long time. I think like 40 years or something. They're just crazy wackos in the vegan community, and they're wide, like a very diverse group of people. So
I
you'll
had
see,
no idea.
Yeah, you'll see everyone, like across the entire political spectrum. You'll see vegans there. So yeah, there are a lot of crazy SJW vegans. I've actually spoken out about this a lot. It's a huge problem in the activist community, and a lot of men are getting targeted. There's a lot of like false rape accusations getting thrown around. These girls are just taking advantage of their power in these organizations, and I'm speaking out about it. But
Good
yeah,
for
like
you.
just because you're vegan doesn't make you SJW or far left or anything.
Really? I didn't realize the
Have you
spectrum.
you ever checked out The Critical Drinker?
No.
You should watch a few of his a few of his episodes on YouTube. He
skewers the left of Hollywood. You would really dig his videos. The Critical Drinker, his name is Will Jordan. He's an author. We had him on the podcast. It's actually our biggest podcast to date.
Yeah.
Hoping you could beat that. But
maybe I have seen his video. Does he
He's
talk about
Scottish.
Johnny Depp a lot?
No.
Okay.
He's got like a thick Scottish accent, and his shtick is that he's reviewing these movies drunk, but he's
I have seen him. I've seen quite a lot of his stuff. I've seen his movie reviews.
Yeah.
His political
absolutely
commentary.
brilliant. The guy really hones in, and he really skewers this new feminism that's emerged from Hollywood about how women can do no wrong in movies, that there's no real arc. Like, I don't know if you're a Star Wars guy, right?
Oh, the Mary Sue's.
right.
Mulan is the worst Mary Sue yet. Oh, that was just terrible.
We didn't see it.
We didn't see Mulan.
Yeah, me neither. But I've seen reviews, and there's no character arc. They're just amazing from the very beginning.
Right.
Yeah, Kylo Ren is that her name? And then the new Star Wars,
Rey.
Yeah, no, Rey. Yeah.
Right.
That's it.
Well, he skewers it where he's like, so she could leap tall buildings with a single bound and not have any training whatsoever. Where Luke, again, I don't know if you're a Star Wars guy, but like,
I am. I love the original trilogy.
Same here. But so Hollywood got their paws into this, into this movement, and the movies are good, but they're not what they used to be, and
they're shit, dude. No, they're garbage. I saw the first. I saw the first episode in the new trilogy.
Yeah,
and just no, I can't watch it. It's just pure garbage. The only scenes that were good were the dogfighting scenes. It felt like
100%
entirely different crew were working on those scenes. They were just amazing. But that's everything else is just shit.
That's the stigma that we hear, right? That the left, the feminism, the SJWs, they're associated with veganism, and then we have you who's saying that's not the case. That's not the truth. You skewer everyone on your channel. Do you have videos that you enjoy making more than others? I mean, you just destroyed John Venus the other day. That was hysterical. Yeah. Do you have videos that you like making more than ones that you really just, you don't want to put this out there, but you feel you have to?
I like criticizing people. Like it's fun. Like I've always just been very confrontational, and I like butting heads. So yeah, the videos where I can be really, really super critical of somebody, those are my favorite. Going after Eric Berg. I love that crap. I love the worst of the fitness industry, video that I did on Eric Berg. Like that was one of the most fun videos when I can like really go after somebody and just hammer them hard. Those are the videos that I love doing the most.
You're natty.
I laugh at Frank Stefano News Network.
Oh yeah.
I didn't
great. I don't know. Whenever he covers Frank, he says, "Welcome to the Frank Stefano News Network."
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I love the videos on Frank too.
Do you get upset when people skewer you? Do you feel you don't?
No.
Really?
Look, I'm not perfect. I don't think I should be immune to criticism. And when anybody has valid criticism against me, I just say, "Oh, yeah, I fucked up. I didn't do that right," and then I'll change so that I'm better than I was last time.
Right.
But if their criticisms are wrong, then I'll just defend myself and say, "No, you're wrong here, here, and here, and you're full of shit." So yeah.
Listen, we were carnivores and we follow Frank and Spherage, and we don't follow their diets, anywhere near what they do. But you won those debates. Straight
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
You won those
Yeah.
debates. You came with an arsenal. Yeah.
You came with data, and
Yeah.
it's really hard to beat unless someone is going to be equally as researched as you.
yeah. You should. Have you seen my debate with Roston C, PhD?
No.
Yeah,
No.
you should watch that.
No.
That was probably my best debate with. He actually knew what he was talking about. Like he's an actual nutrition science PhD.
What was his side?
So he was like pro carnivore. He had
Really?
the idea that carnivore diet is probably like the most healthy diet. He's a little more reasonable than someone like Frank or Sverige. He was saying like, yeah, you can be healthy on a vegan diet. There's no issue there. But he was saying, yeah, probably carnivore, very meat-based diet is probably healthiest. But you should check that out. He like again, he's not someone like Frank who's just pseudo-intellectual. Literally has no clue what he's talking about, can't read. So that was one of my better debates with somebody on nutrition.
I wanted to talk about what are your thoughts on like COVID-19 and mask wearing, and like where do you stand on the state of the world right now?
So like everywhere, like the government's just fucked up, like especially I think in the US. So what they should have done. So here's what they should have done. They should have had a hard lockdown for maybe about 6 weeks, flatten the curve.
100%.
Given people just a month wave on mortgage payments, rent, and everything,
100%.
just so people don't go homeless and lose their jobs, and then open things back up. Had people wear masks, social distance, limit social gatherings, limit the amount of people who should be in stores, and keep fucking schools closed. These fucking morons
100%.
opened up fucking schools, and then now there's a second wave, and now things have to close down again. It was just beyond stupid. The whole reason there's even a flu season is because of fucking schools. So keep the fucking schools closed, and there wouldn't be any goddamn problems with another second wave of COVID. So
what's it like in Canada now?
Yeah, schools are open. There's, I think like every freaking day, there's like a new record for, COVID infections. In Toronto, they like around the Toronto area, they're closing things down like more and more. I don't think you can dine in restaurants anymore, but you can like order. So things aren't totally closed down. Schools are still open for some reason because everyone's an idiot. They don't know how to use Zoom, I guess.
We kept our kids home.
Yeah.
It's,
and listen, our day job is we're in the car service business. We have 10 offices across the United States. We
were actually opening in Toronto, by the way.
Yeah,
cool.
We chauffeur, celebrities, executives, and whatnot. Very niche. Like Uber can't do what we do. It's very nuanced who we drive. Obviously, our business was destroyed because of COVID, and we're rebuilding now very slowly. And we kept our kids home because it's just the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And where we live in the North Shore of Long Island. And if you don't know where that is, it's a bubble.
It's a very affluent area.
It's a very affluent, bubble-ish type area. And
everyone
you ain't stopping these people's good time.
Right.
It's not going to fucking happen.
Everyone sent the kids back to school. So I have a 12-year-old Richard and an 8-year-old, and my 12-year-old's Alexander, and I have an 8-year-old daughter Kayla, and Eric has a 10-year-old girl Hallie, and a 6-year-old boy named Zachary. And we live a mile apart. I mean, we're very close family, and like it wasn't even a question if we were sending them in. Like it was like we set them up.
I was having anxiety that they wouldn't be given the option.
Right.
Yeah. Are you anti-children? I kind of
not
felt
necessarily anti-children. It's just I think not everyone should be a parent, and I don't even think that's a controversial opinion. Like,
right.
Just not everybody should be a parent.
Do you recognize that for yourself, or that you don't?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like even if I wanted kids, there's no freaking way I'm having them.
Really,
I'm just not the type of person who should be around kids.
What do you feel like is like kind of negative about children?
I'm like pretty much certainly on the antisocial, like not negative about children. It's just negative about me. Like I'm definitely on the antisocial personality spectrum. I don't think I'm capable of having that sort of love, like unconditional love for somebody. I've never actually loved my parents. I've never loved any friends. I always have this like weird separation from everyone. The only person I've ever met where that barrier's gone is my wife. But I think I can only love somebody romantically. I don't think I could ever actually love someone as a friend or children. There's just no way I can give them the type of love and attention they need. And I'm like, I just have emotional issues. I had like really, really bad anger issues a few years ago that I've finally gotten over. But still, like, I still have issues with depression and stuff. Like, I'm kind of irresponsible-ish too. Like, maybe not irresponsible, but I'm just the type of person who can't be tied down to like a set schedule. Like, if I want to sleep in, that's just happening. I got to sleep in. If I want to do something now, I'll do it now. If I don't, I won't. I'm just that type of person, and I don't think kids would kind of fit into that sort of lifestyle or schedule.
You know what it is? You're so self-aware.
Right.
And like, I'm not as self-aware as you are, and I'm pretty self-aware. You're so self-aware, and you don't bullshit yourself, and therefore you don't let anyone bullshit you.
Yeah.
Have you been to therapy?
I was in therapy for a bit for my anger issues, and it helped. It definitely helped. I think the biggest issue with self-improvement is just first recognizing that you have a problem,
100%,
and then just it takes years. This took years for me to finally figure out, but it's just something that you have to like work on. It's not even something like, oh, that's the issue solved. It's just like a lot of these things are behaviors and like emotional patterns and stuff that you develop like throughout your entire life. And it just takes a very, very long time to correct those things. And it just takes practice over a long period of time. And I feel like I've finally gotten over my anger issues.
Good.
And right now I can finally just focus on just my emotional issues, like around my depression and stuff.
How did you get over your anger issues, Richard?
So a big part of it was like recognizing that the anger was coming from within. It wasn't like I was blaming it on other things. I was blaming it on just like bullshit that would happen, other people, just getting in my way. All the anger was really just coming from inside me. I'm just naturally I have a really short fuse. I'm really aggressive and confrontational. Mm-hmm. And I just had to recognize like, okay, the reason I'm having these outbursts where I just throw shit against the wall and shit, it's just because of me. Like I'm just taking things way too far, and I just have to reel myself back in and give myself perspective. Like it's just not a big deal, and I just have to calm down. And just over time, the crazy anger outbursts just reduced. Like they became less and less frequent. And then finally, I've just taught myself when I do feel like I'm just really enraged, like just take a step back, think about things, probably not worth smashing things, on your desk and like punching holes in the wall. So,
right.
Yeah. Kids make you pissed.
Yeah.
Don't have kids, Richard.
Don't have kids, because they'll drive you crazy and you get mad.
Yeah.
Richard, I want to ask you, are you an Anthony Robbins guy? Do you believe in self-help, spirituality, the law of attraction? Do you believe in any of that stuff?
I've never got into Anthony Robbins. Like a lot of it just seemed like, I don't know, woo-woo bullshit. I don't know. Like, I don't even know what spirituality really even means. Like a lot of people use that word.
Do you believe in birth to death? Is it birth to death? Do you believe?
Before you go there, Mike, hold on. Like, did you envision your channel the way it is now?
Not really. So when I first started my YouTube channel, like most people, I thought it would just take years and years for me to build up an audience, but it blew up pretty quickly. So that was kind of a surprise, but I knew deep down that if I kept doing it, I could probably develop an audience. I was confident in myself that I could do it. And yeah, just success happened a lot quicker than I thought it would.
But that's like the law of attraction. Like you knew you can do it. That's basically it. Where like you think about it and then you make it happen.
You work towards the goal, and you were going to be successful at this no matter what.
I don't really agree with that. I've seen crazy delusional people who think they can be arm wrestling champions even though they're 60 years old. Like,
and that's very true. So I wrote a book called Just Ask the Universe, and we are big believers in working hard, writing down your goals, and implementing like fuck, right? If you're going to sit on the couch all day and let the universe bring you things, it's never going to work. And if you're going to say, well, I want to meet Elvis Presley, if the universe is going to give me anything I want to meet Elvis and I want to talk to him about the inner workings of Google, that's bullshit. That's never going to happen. But things that are legit, like you built an incredible channel with a few 100,000 followers, right? So like our business, we're trying to build this. Eric and I have now been doing a podcast for about a year and a half, and it's just finally starting to take off right now. And our goal is to have interesting people on like yourself to learn about you and to learn about your successes and what made you work and how your YouTube channel really, how you hit a stride with that. But you know, I went through a lot of emotional shit also. I don't think as deep as yours, and I'm not comparing myself to you by any stretch of the means, but Anthony Robbins did help, and he's not woo-woo. He's all about getting down to the nitty-gritty. If you ever want to splurge, Personal Power 2 was really helpful for me, and that started my journey in self-help, because we all need help. I mean, I'm in therapy too, because everybody needs help. You know, like everyone's got issues, and for people who go, I don't have issues, I'm perfect, this and that, they have the most.
And it's not about being a 75-year-old arm wrestler. You know,
that won't work.
You're going to have whack jobs in every genre.
Well, the news fucks you up because they go, oh, look, a 90-year-old marathon runner. Shut the fuck up. You know, this 90-year-old marathon runner, it's a photo op. That's all it is. You know, but I'm just saying Anthony Robbins' Personal Power 2 was instrumental in my personal growth. Might be something you want to look into. You know,
all right, cool. Yeah. I've watched a bit of Jordan Peterson. I don't like the guy personally, but I do think some of his self-help advice is pretty good.
He's really deep.
Yeah. But he's kind of deep and he's not. Like, I can go on a whole thing with
talk to us, please. Come on.
Yeah, the dude. So the guy is kind of a grifter. I think when he talks about self-help and how he particularly wants to help young men, I think he's being totally genuine there. Mm-hmm. But I've seen some pages of his book, 12 Rules for Life. Mm-hmm. Some of it is just fucking stupid. Like, it's just total bullshit. He had this like weird diagram, like, oh my God, it made no sense. Like he deliberately makes things overly complicated to hide that they don't make any goddamn sense, and just to make it seem like it's smarter than it really is. The guy's also like a really weird conservative. He lied about C13 or whatever it was to give transsexuals equal rights and protections under the law in Canada. Basically, all it did was it made transsexuals a protected class, just like how they made different religious groups a protected class, different ethnic groups a protected class. That's all it was. And then he turned it into a thing where they're going to lock you up if you call like a man a woman or something. So he tried to, and that's literally what launched his career, that whole thing, lying about that bill that was passed. On top of that, I've seen some of his Patreon live streams where people ask him like legitimate questions, you know, like they just want to know. They asked him, some guy asked him, are gay couples, are they as good at raising children as straight couples? Mm-hmm. Well, rather than actually showing them the data, it turns out that, you know, gay couples, whether it's two women or two men, when they raise a child, the children have the exact same outcomes when it comes to education, socioeconomic status, like the risk of imprisonment, things like that. Same outcomes. Rather than like just saying that, he said he went on some tangent about how children from broken families are more likely to have problems, lower socioeconomic status. They're more likely to be reliant off the government, social services. They're more likely to be imprisoned. So he was basically saying gay people have broken families. So the guy's a weird conservative kind of creep. I don't like him. He also uses a lot of weasel words. So like his classic line, "That's not what I said." He'll say something that's very vague intentionally so that he can wheel back what he says. You'll have these weird, creepy, conservative ideas. There was that mass killing in Canada where somebody killed a bunch of people with a rental van. Turned out the guy was this incel, and he was just trying to lash out at the world because he couldn't get laid. Mm-hmm. And Jordan Peterson said, well, this is a result of no, the way we deal with this is enforced monogamy. What the fuck? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And it's pretty obvious what he's trying to say. Like, he's basically saying like, oh yeah, we should return to traditional values where like, get rid of free love. Women should kind of be set up with, you know, a dude, and there shouldn't be this hookup culture like there is, and it kind of pressures men to get into different relationships and that kind of shit. But then, you know, when people pointed out like this is insanely sexist and crazy, that's not what I said. Like, I don't like the guy.
Do I
does that
dare?
all the time.
Do I dare ask you what your opinion is on Michaela?
Oh, she's a moron. Just a complete fucking idiot. Jesus Christ, where to begin? She claimed that all of her knowledge on diet is scientific. She spent like countless hours researching. Then when I contacted her for a debate, she literally admitted to me she's never bothered reading any research or studying or anything. She doesn't know jack shit. So she's fucking lying. She's just a complete grifter. She's charging like a few $100s or something for consultations for diet and nutrition. She just tells you to eat ribeye steak. Like, that's it. Just eat ribeye steak. What, like $300 for a nutrition consultation?
Right.
What is she going to tell you? Like, it's just ridiculous. She doesn't have any kind of training in, you know, giving people diet and meal plans. Like, she doesn't know anything.
Who's the one?
Admittedly,
who's the one you hate the most on YouTube? Who's the one that if you could just hang them by their feet in the middle of a public square and be like, you're the worst person ever, who would it be?
It would either be Butterfield, Isaac Butterfield, or Penguin Zero. Those are the two people that I actually have the most beef with.
I don't know who they are. I apologize.
Yeah, so
are they
Isaac
vegans? Are they
Butterfield,
carnivores?
yeah, Isaac Butterfield, he's an Australian comedian, and he's just the most dishonest piece of shit. You know how you talked about how you hate SJW culture and everything? His whole shtick is he hates SJWs. He's unapologetic. You know, he's pro free speech. But then when he criticizes anyone, he goes full SJW and
really?
tries. Yeah, he's talked about how he hates cancel culture. Oh, going back 5 years into somebody's Twitter history to find an offensive tweet. Fuck that shit. He does that. So I can't stand the guy for that reason. And Penguin Zero, he's just a dishonest like man baby.
Really?
He has the mind of like a spoiled little 8-year-old kid. I've talked about how he's a complete hypocrite, how he claims, you know, he cares about animals. He's made a few videos criticizing people for harming animals. He literally does the same thing. He goes over to like McDonald's and shit and KFC to buy, you know, chicken and burgers and stuff. And those animals are treated worse than the animals that he's talking about, you know, that are getting abused in these videos. And then I pointed out to him, you're being a total hypocrite. You're supporting animal abuse yourself. And then again, he goes on that, you know, whole tangent about how, oh, you know, I have to, it's natural, you know, those stupid excuses I was talking about. The guy's just so dishonest.
I was shocked at that. I thought it was going to be Sviraj. I thought you would hang Sviraj up by his feet, but
you know, he's a terrible person just in general. He's
antagonistic the way he, like him and Milk Jar going to the squares and eating the goat head. It's like, bro, all right, I get it. Like, you feel that this is your diet, this is healthy, but just what are you sticking it in people's faces for like that? That's just, to me, that's wrong on every level. And I'm not against the guy. I'm not even against the SJW.
Oh, it goes beyond that, man. With Sviraj, the guy has a long history of mental health issues, and it's not even entirely his fault. Like, I do have a bit of sympathy for the guy.
Right.
He committed a mass stabbing when he was in high school. I think when he was 16.
Right.
He stabbed 4 students. I think 2 girls. And according to some reports, he attempted suicide after the fact. Then he was like obviously in a mental hospital for a while, and he's talked about like these weird issues he's had. He's been hospitalized for anorexia, and then during that he wanted to try and kill and eat the doctors that were helping him. The dude, he's admitted this on camera. I've made videos about this. Just recently, he moved to Romania, and he was staying with a group of people.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening was there was a dude there who spoke the same language as his girlfriend. So his girlfriend, I don't know what language, like native language she speaks, but it's he's from Latvia. She's from someone else. They both speak English though. But she met a guy who speaks her native language. So she was talking to him a bit more and spending more time with him. He got jealous, and then he threatened everyone with a knife. And considering he stabbed a bunch of people before, that's kind of, you know, an issue. So he kicked everyone out of the house. Then he threatened to kill himself if his girlfriend didn't come back. And then she came back. Then he threatened to like beat her with a hammer, and apparently cut her hair as like a form of punishment and shit. And what's creepy too is there's actually video footage of her with a bruised, fucked up face, and she actually had to get dental surgery. So he might have attacked her before. So,
God.
Yeah, the dude's awful, and he's talked about how he doesn't respect his girlfriend. There's actually, like, he did a live stream, which he later deleted, by the way, where he was being abusive to her, not respecting her, treating her like trash.
I saw that.
So, yeah, the dude's just a, like, some of it's not his fault. Like, he does have mental issues, but the dude's just a piece of crap. Like, just plain and simple. Even if he was vegan, he'd be a piece of crap for doing this.
No, I'd love to have him on the show. So
yeah,
we'll see how that one goes.
Yeah.
So yeah, Michael had a question before I interrupted him, but you know, we're believers in the afterlife. We're believers in life after death. Where do you stand on that?
So I don't really believe in life after death. I do technically kind of believe in reincarnation, but it's not in the Buddha sense where your soul just gets transferred into another body.
Right.
I had a pretty crazy out-of-body experience. I think I nearly died in the hospital from like an opiate overdose. I got an E. coli infection in my knee, and I was on the highest dose of morphine that they had, and I had 2 surgeries back to back in the same day, one in the morning, one in the evening. And I was still in a ton of pain, and the nurses gave me additional Percocets and Oxycontins. So I was on a ton of drugs, and I felt like my heart slowed down. I felt like I was getting rained on, like there was raindrops falling all over me. And then I just felt my heart stop. And then right in that instant, I like went out of my body, and I saw myself laying in the hospital bed. And then all of a sudden, just like I flew up into the sky, and then I became like the entire universe. And I felt like every particle and planet and everything. I didn't have a body or anything. And I just stayed there for like an eternity. It felt like I was just there infinitely. So.
And you don't believe in life after death?
No. So what I think.
What do you think that was?
Yeah. What was that?
So, okay. So, well, I think part of it was, so people can have this experience from, I've had this experience again from magic mushrooms. Some other people have had this experience from DMT. There's a part of your brain that's actually responsible for basically letting you recognize that you're your own individual person. I think when you have some of these near-death experiences or these psychedelic experiences, basically that part of your brain shuts off, and then you don't understand that you're your own person. And then you get the sense that you're everything. So I think that's basically what happened.
So you think it's just a chemical type
Reaction.
reaction?
In all likelihood, that's what happened. But from a number of psychedelic experiences I've had, including, you know, that near-death experience, I think what happens is basically your matter gets broken down, and then other creatures consume you, worms, bugs, beetles, larger creatures. You know, eventually you just become a part of everything else's consciousness. So, like, I mean, what makes your own consciousness? Where did your brain come from? It came from the food you eat, other things around you, the water you drink, you know, other things you consume. So I think that's basically what happens. Like, you die, like you're gone. But the matter that created you, the matter that was responsible for your consciousness, it's just going to be reincorporated into other organisms, and basically you're going to become part of that creature's consciousness.
So do you believe in God?
No. With that near-death experience in the hospital, with a bunch of psychedelic experiences I've had with like magic mushrooms, I've never had any sense or feeling that there was like a higher power in the universe. From even when I was pretty small, like the only reason I believed in God when I was like a little kid was because other kids that I went to school with told me about it. I grew up in a very a-religious household. Like, they didn't tell me either way. So yeah, I never really took the idea seriously. And then, yeah, when I got into high school, when I like actually thought about this and I discovered like the atheist experience on YouTube, I just became an atheist.
Yeah.
Have you ever been read by a psychic or a medium?
No.
Interesting.
Should give it a shot. You know, our mother is a medium. She connects with people from the afterlife. And it's relatively new. She started practicing it once my father died. And, you know, we believe our mother. And, you know, according to the people that she's read, she does cold readings. She's read people live on our show where we've picked random people from our audience and she's read them and connected with their relatives or told them certain things that have, you know, that
and there's no one more we trust than our own mother, Richard. Like, she wouldn't be trying to find information on Facebook. We're not trying to convert you by any stretch of the means.
Yeah, I just don't believe in that. Like,
I get it. I mean,
you could prove it to me. Like, if you could, I don't know, there's got to be some sort of standard for burden of proof. Like, if she, I don't know, could do some sort of reading on me and, I don't know, discover something about my grandfather that passed away that only I would know, like,
that's happened.
The way that it works is, you know, like, mediums are just a conduit to whatever the souls have to say, and you don't have control on what they tell you. So it's kind of like, it's like a moving train, and then you'll get you have to distinguish the thought in your head versus the thought that's being put there. That's the way it's explained to me. I'm personally not a medium. I would like to try to be, but, you know, I don't know how. But it is a learned skill to know how to do that.
But I find it fascinating that you actually left your body and you still don't believe that there's something bigger than, and I don't believe the guy on the throne saying you're good and you're bad. I don't believe in that type of God. I think religion is a man-made thing. I don't believe in religion. I believe in, and I know you don't really understand, you don't really believe in that word spirituality. I do believe in spirituality. I believe that you can, that we're inhabiting these meat suits, right, for a time being, for a limited time, and we're here to learn and to grow our souls. Whether that's true or not, I never had the experience you had of leaving my body that I know of. I could have, and I just didn't know about it.
That's called astral projecting.
Yeah. Yeah. I find it fascinating that you saw something bigger. I've never done drugs before in my life. I smoked weed once with my father, out of all people. Were you big into drugs? Did you like DMT and mushrooms and weed and shit?
I've never taken DMT. I was vaping weed for a while just to deal with my anger issues to calm me down, but I've stopped for, I think, like the last 3-4 years. It's been a while. I was just taking it for my anger. No.
You don't miss it?
No.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was taking mushrooms for a variety of reasons. The main reason I initially tried mushrooms was because I heard it helps with creativity, and I took them. They actually got rid of my depression for a while, so I actually want to try taking them again because I've been dealing with depression lately. So, and the FDA has actually come out and said they're basically a miracle treatment for depression.
Really?
So yeah, they use an entirely different mechanism from SSRI drugs, so serotonin reuptake inhibitors. That's the big class of drugs they're using for depression treatment right now. They don't really work. So they use mushrooms, the psilocybin, completely different mechanism for dealing with depression. So, and it seems effective. There's already been one human trial, very promising. I think everyone in the test group had relief of depression for months afterwards,
right,
off of one dose. So yeah, they're pretty useful. Hopefully they become legalized soon. They are potentially dangerous. I've heard of some people getting PTSD after taking them. Like, they can give you insane terror like you've never experienced before.
Really?
Yeah, I had a mushroom trip once where basically I was in this dark black void of pure nothingness. I was basically floating through space. That was the sensation I got. But then I entered this like insane expanse of nothingness that just went on for eternity. And it felt like I was not going to experience anything like ever again. And that was probably like the biggest feeling of sheer terror that I've ever had.
Christ.
So they can give you some pretty terrifying experiences, but every time, like even when you have a bad trip like that, it just feels like you take something away that's valuable. And,
Did you ever take ayahuasca? Have you done ayahuasca?
No, I've wanted to. There's actually a shaman in Toronto near where I am who's reached out to me, and she does ayahuasca meetups like every month. And apparently it's illegal in Canada from what I understand.
Bro, you should live stream that shit.
I was just about to say.
Yeah, I don't know if I can. Like YouTube's pretty.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like it's weird. Like some channels can get away with it. I know Vsauce, he's actually done an ayahuasca trip and filmed it, and he got away with it. But according to their TOS, you can't do that. Like it's really stupid. But
you were banned on YouTube once, right?
Yeah.
Really?
I got banned. Yeah, they deleted my channel. Wow. So a few of my videos broke terms of service, and I can kind of understand why. Like there were jokes, but they took it as like a personal attack against somebody. The reason that I actually ultimately got banned, it was a mistake. That's how I got my channel back. I did a live stream criticizing slaughterhouses. It was a live stream about how slaughterhouse workers are mistreated and a lot of them get PTSD. Mm-hmm. They thought that I was actually, it had to have been some like Indian guy who doesn't speak English, reviewing the video. Mm-hmm. He thought that I was promoting animal abuse or something. And that's why my channel ultimately got deleted. That was like the third strike that I got on my channel that got me deleted. So then I signed up to a multi-channel network, and then they talked with YouTube. Then I got my channel back.
Interesting. Are you friends with Casey, Vegetable Police?
I was never really friends with him. I met up with him a few times, and I let him borrow one of my cameras and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I met him. When I met him in person, he seems like a nice, friendly guy.
Yeah.
But you really had I was kind of shocked at some of the things that happened. Like, he quit veganism and everything. It turned out he was never actually vegan.
Right.
He is a fucking moron. So I have never come across anyone in my life.
He's self-admitted though.
Yeah.
He calls himself a moron all the time.
Oh yeah, totally. I have never in my life seen anyone who has a complete and utter lack of critical thinking skills. He's someone who literally believes the last thing he was told. That's why he, at one point, believed the Holocaust never happened. He saw some weird forum post talking about how it was all set up. They weren't concentration camps. They were like summer camps for Jews or something. I
gotta tell you,
are you friendly with him now? Or
no.
do you no? Okay.
I just don't talk to him at all.
All right, yeah.
We our grandfather was a survivor. It was our mother's father was in the Holocaust, and legit, it was real. Okay,
yeah.
He's told me horror stories. He lost his entire family.
He was interviewed by the Shoah Foundation, Steven Spielberg's foundation, so he has archived footage of him telling all of his stories, which is really interesting to check out. Where he basically made a foundation where he interviews all living survivors.
And he said Schindler's List was bullshit. He said Schindler's List didn't cover. I don't know if you've ever seen Schindler's List.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
it was a great movie. It didn't cover 5% of what actually happened. The Nazis
just worse shit.
It was worse.
The Nazis raped.
He was literally
in front of him.
He was a 16-year-old boy, and normal, upscale life living, and then one day
Poland,
he came home from school and nobody was home.
Jesus.
Brothers and sisters were gone, parents were gone, and that was it. Just imagine being a normal 16-year-old kid today, coming home, and then everything's done.
That's insane.
He eventually, what I understood is that he did meet up with his sister. She was raped. The mother was shot point blank in the head in front of him, and he never saw his father again. And he had a little sister he doesn't even remember. But people that deny the Holocaust, all right, that's your opinion.
Morons.
They're idiots. Yeah, but again, we're not here to say if anyone's wrong or right. But we could tell you straight up, we believed our grandfather, and he lost his entire family.
Yeah. There's absolutely conclusive evidence. I mean, the deaths were even recorded by the Nazis themselves.
Yeah.
I have a question. Do you believe in any conspiracy theories?
It's a great question.
The Epstein case, he was fucking murdered in that prison cell. That's the most obvious one. Even the most
100%
conspiracy theory people, they believe that.
Yes.
I think
was it by the Clintons? Was it by Clintons though?
Yeah, there's a high likelihood. Actually, Bill Clinton has a lot of skeletons in his closet for sure. The JFK assassination, I think that was definitely a
100%.
conspiracy.
Yeah.
Everything involved in that case was weird. The distance that the distance wasn't that far. It's not a particularly hard shot. It's the speed at which he made those shots. On top of that, you can see he was shot from the front. Like when you shoot somebody, you'll see shit blow out from the opposite side of the shot.
Mm-hmm.
He was shot in the front of the head, his head cocked back. You can see skull fragments blowing out from the back. That doesn't happen when you get shot from behind. His wife, it was really weird. She reached to the back of the car and picked up his skull fragments
when there's shots being fired.
Yeah, that was strange.
Doesn't make any sense. Do you believe do you believe the Earth is flat?
No, it's definitely round. I've been on a plane before.
You've been on a plane?
Yeah, I've been on a plane before.
He's been on a plane. He sees the
it's round.
Yeah.
The fact that you can't see the entire Earth and you end up seeing more as you go up, that kind of proves it's round.
Have you done shows on conspiracy theories?
Not really. I have had debates with flat earthers.
Yeah,
that's technically a conspiracy
I would watch you discussing JFK.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I would totally having your analytical mind talk about those things. I think that'd be pretty cool.
I'm a writer, Richard. I don't know if you knew that. I wrote a book, Monsterland. It's actually being turned into a screenplay now, hopefully to get into Hollywood. Cool. Yeah, no, I have a whole team representing me on the left coast. And in order to be a writer, I believe in conspiracy theories. I don't believe the Earth is flat, but I think it's such a great thing to be man, maybe it'd be amazing if it really was, right? Or JFK, maybe there was 5 people shooting at JFK that day, right? It's just the idea that I wrote a book about monsters in theme parks, right? It's like Jurassic Park, but instead of dinosaurs, it's all werewolves, vampires, and zombies in a theme park. But I think you should definitely do a conspiracy theory channel. Unbelievable.
Or conspiracy theory shows. I would totally dig that.
Conspiracy gains.
I was actually thinking of making a channel where I talk about mangas, because there's a lot of it kind of delves into that realm where it's theories about what happens in a manga and conspiracies.
What's manga?
Yeah. So it's basically Japanese comics. Yeah.
Oh, mangas. I'm thinking Make America Great Again, asshole.
No.
Yeah, okay.
No, okay. Manga. Yeah.
Okay, I misheard you. Yeah, no. I would love to get into anime. I heard it's incredible.
You should read Berserk. Yeah.
Berserk. Okay.
It's absolutely amazing, especially since you're a writer. I think you'd really, really dig Berserk.
Do you read a lot, Richard?
Yeah.
Email me your address. I'll send you. I've written 20 books, and they're being optioned. Yeah, it's all conspiracy.
Yeah, if you want to get into manga and anime, I'd say read Berserk and read Gantz. I think especially you, since you're a writer and a creative person, you'd love those too. Gantz is the most insane thing I've ever read. Really? It's crazy. Really? I don't want to spoil things for you, because a big thing in Gantz is just being surprised each time. But it's about aliens. I think you'd really, really dig it.
I'm into it, man. That's what I write. I write about paranormal. I write about monsters, aliens, all that shit. I love. Oh yeah,
you'd freaking love Gantz. It
really
is absolutely insane. Each chapter, you think you've seen the craziest shit you've ever seen in your life, and then things go even more insane. Yeah, you'd love it.
I'm in. Is it animation?
No, so there is an anime and it's animated, but the manga is what you want to read, the comic book. It's insane. Yeah,
I'm gonna buy it as soon as we're done with the interview.
And before you go, you do gaming, you game, right?
Yeah.
What's your game? What's your game of choice?
So I'm usually into first-person shooters, so Call of Duty, Doom. I've gotten into VR gaming a lot recently, so. Really? Yeah, so I play a lot of shooters in VR too, like Pavlov.
Have you won Warzone yet?
No, I don't. I hate Warzone.
What?
Warzone's just trash. Yeah, I can't stand battle royales. They're just awful.
Oh my god, we've come in second place.
Richard, Eric and I are born gamers. We've been gaming since as far back as you can remember. Every system, like we've had it. And right now we are so intent on winning one fucking game in Warzone.
Yeah.
And we're playing now 4 months straight. Eric and I play every night at 6 p.m. after like, everyone's done with dinner and shit. Like we go, we sit down, we call each other.
Kids. My 6-year-old son is obsessed.
And we're trying to win one Warzone game. And it's impossible. Second,
I want to start a gaming channel in the worst way.
Yeah.
No,
You should.
we're not good enough, man.
I'm excited for the new Call of Duty. It actually looks pretty dope.
Cold War looks good.
Yeah, Cold War.
You play on Xbox or PC?
No, PC.
That's awesome.
Come on, Mike. Of course he plays on PC.
Yeah. I would expect nothing less.
I mean, come on. It's not even.
If you're into shooters, you got to play on PC.
When this is done, email us your gamer tags. We'll hook up online. We'd love to play. We're big gamers. We love that shit.
All right, for sure.
Richard, where can people find you? I mean, I think we're done, right, Eric? I asked him everything.
I got my fix. It was a great show.
Yeah, so Vegan Gains on YouTube. I'm also on Twitter, Vegan Gains. Yeah, you can find me on there.
Great.
Awesome. Richard,
Everybody,
thanks for coming on, man.
Please like, subscribe, share our channel. Greatly appreciated.
And go watch, if you want good entertainment and really educational videos, go watch Vegan Gains on YouTube. The guy knows his shit for real.
Yeah, thanks.
Richard, thanks for coming on, man.
Hang out for 2 seconds, all right? We're going to play the outro. Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.